Picture this, it's 1918, the First World War has just ended, and a small Bavarian company that built aircraft engines for the German military is suddenly forbidden from making what they know best. The Treaty of Versailles has banned Germany from aircraft production, leaving Bayerische Motoren Werke, BMW, scrambling for survival. Fast forward over a century, and that same company has become synonymous with luxury, performance, and the phrase the ultimate driving machine. This is the extraordinary story of how BMW transformed from a wartime engine supplier into one of the world's most prestigious automotive empires, building not just cars, but an entire lifestyle brand that defines success and aspiration across the globe. BMW's origin story begins in 1916 when aircraft engineer Karl Rapp founded Rapp Motoren Werke in Munich. The company initially produced aircraft engines for the German war effort, but Rapp's financial struggles led to a partnership with businessman Camillo Castiglione and engineer Max Friz. In 1917, they restructured the company as Bayerische Motoren Werke GmbH, literally meaning Bavarian Motor Works. The iconic BMW logo, often mistaken for a spinning propeller, actually represents the blue and white colors of the Bavarian flag arranged in a rotating pattern. However, the propeller interpretation isn't entirely wrong. It became part of BMW's marketing narrative, connecting the brand to its aviation heritage. Max Friz designed the BMW 3A aircraft engine, which became legendary for its high-altitude performance, powering planes that could fly higher than Allied aircraft and giving the German Air Force a significant advantage. This engine established BMW's reputation for engineering excellence and innovation, principles that would define the company for the next century. When the Treaty of Versailles crushed BMW's aircraft engine business, the company faced an existential crisis that would test its resilience and adaptability. Rather than collapse, BMW demonstrated the entrepreneurial spirit that would characterize its entire history. They pivoted to manufacturing railway brakes, household items, and even office furniture. Anything to keep the lights on and the workforce employed. But the real turning point came in 1922 when BMW acquired Helios, a motorcycle manufacturer. This acquisition gave them access to motorcycle production technology and, more importantly, a pathway back to engine manufacturing. In 1923, BMW launched the R32 motorcycle, featuring the company's first motorcycle engine. The R32 was revolutionary because it used a flat twin engine with the cylinders positioned horizontally, providing better cooling and a lower center of gravity. This design became BMW's signature motorcycle configuration and is still used today. The R32 wasn't just a product, it was BMW's declaration that they were back in the business of building exceptional engines, setting the stage for their eventual move into automobiles. The transition from motorcycles to automobiles wasn't immediate, but when it happened, it defined BMW's approach to engineering and luxury for decades to come. In 1928, BMW acquired the Eisenach vehicle factory, along with the license to produce the Austin 7, a small British car. They renamed it the BMW 315 and began their automotive journey by essentially copying and improving upon existing designs. This wasn't unusual for the era. Many successful car companies started by licensing foreign designs and then improving them. However, BMW's engineering culture meant they couldn't simply copy, they had to innovate. By 1933, BMW had developed their first independently designed car, the BMW 303, which featured the company's first six-cylinder engine and introduced the distinctive kidney-shaped grille that remains BMW's signature design element today. The 303 established BMW's design philosophy of combining performance with elegance, a principle that would differentiate them from purely luxury brands like Mercedes-Benz or performance-focused companies like Porsche.
Even more significant was the 1936 BMW 328, a sports car that dominated racing throughout the late 1930s
and established BMW's reputation for building driver-focused vehicles that could compete at the highest levels of motorsport. World War II nearly destroyed BMW for the second time in its short history, but the company's ability to survive and rebuild would prove to be one of its greatest strengths. During the war, BMW was forced to use slave labor and produce aircraft engines for the Nazi war machine, a dark chapter the company has acknowledged and for which it has paid reparations. Allied bombing destroyed BMW's Munich factory, and after the war, the company was again prohibited from manufacturing aircraft engines or automobiles. The British Army took control of the motorcycle factory, and BMW's future looked bleak. The company survived by producing pots, pans, and bicycles while secretly developing new motorcycle designs. In 1948, they were finally allowed to resume motorcycle production, launching the R24, which became crucial to BMW's post-war recovery. However, the real challenge was re-entering the automotive market. BMW's first post-war car, the luxurious BMW 501, launched in 1951, was beautiful but commercially unsuccessful. Germans were looking for economical transportation, not luxury cars, and BMW was pricing itself out of its home market. The 501, nicknamed Baroque Angel for its flowing lines, nearly bankrupted the company and taught BMW a crucial lesson about understanding market demands versus engineering desires. The 1950s brought BMW to the brink of extinction with a takeover attempt that would have changed automotive history forever. Mercedes-Benz, seeing BMW's financial struggles, made a serious bid to acquire their Bavarian rival in 1959. This acquisition would have eliminated BMW as an independent brand and potentially changed the luxury car landscape permanently. However, BMW was saved by an unlikely coalition of small shareholders led by Herbert Quandt, a German industrialist who saw potential in the struggling company. Quandt didn't just provide financial backing, he demanded operational changes that would transform BMW's approach to the market. The rescue coincided with BMW's decision to focus on a completely different market segment. Instead of competing directly with Mercedes and luxury cars, BMW would target younger, more performance-oriented buyers who wanted cars that were luxurious but also engaging to drive. This positioning led to the development of the BMW 1500 in 1961, known internally as the Neue Klasse, or New Class. The 1500 featured a sporty four-cylinder engine, independent suspension, and a design that emphasized driving dynamics over pure comfort. It was smaller and less expensive than traditional luxury cars, but offered a level of performance and build quality that economy cars couldn't match, essentially creating the premium compact sedan category. The 1970s marked BMW's transformation from a regional German manufacturer into a global luxury brand, anchored by one of the most successful car series in automotive history. The BMW 3 Series, launched in 1975, became the foundation of BMW's global success and established the template for every premium compact sedan that followed. The 3 Series was initially available only as a two-door coupe, but BMW's positioning was clear. This was a car for people who loved driving, but also demanded luxury and status. The original 3 Series featured rear-wheel drive, precise steering, and a perfect weight balance that made it incredibly engaging to drive while still being practical for daily use. BMW's marketing during this period began emphasizing the driving experience over traditional luxury elements like interior space or ride comfort. This was a revolutionary approach because German luxury had traditionally been about comfort and prestige, not sportiness. The 3 Series became BMW's best-selling model and remained so for decades, proving that there was a massive market for cars that combined luxury with performance. Meanwhile, BMW's expansion into the American market accelerated their growth significantly. The United States became BMW's largest market outside of Germany, and American buyers embraced BMW's performance-oriented approach to luxury. The company established BMW of North America in 1975, and by the early 1980s, BMW had become a status symbol among young American professionals who wanted to differentiate themselves from their parents' luxury car choices. The 1980s and 1990s represented BMW's golden era of expansion, innovation, and brand building, culminating in their transformation into a true luxury lifestyle empire. During this period, BMW launched the 5 Series and 7 Series, creating a complete lineup that competed across all luxury segments while maintaining their performance focus. The 1981 BMW M1 was their first mid-engine supercar, establishing the M division as BMW's high-performance sub-brand. More importantly, the M3, launched in 1986, became one of the most successful sports sedans in history and proved that BMW could build cars that were equally at home on racetracks and city streets. BMW's marketing during this era was revolutionary, focusing on emotional connection rather than technical specifications. The Ultimate Driving Machine slogan, introduced in the American market, became one of the most recognizable automotive taglines ever created. This wasn't just marketing speak. BMW backed up the claim with continuous innovation in areas like engine technology, suspension design, and aerodynamics. The company invested heavily in motorsport, understanding that racing success would validate their performance claims and attract customers who valued driving excitement. BMW's success in Formula One, touring car racing, and endurance racing during the 1980s and 1990s established them as a legitimate performance brand, not just a luxury manufacturer with sporty pretensions. By the mid-1990s, BMW had achieved something remarkable. They had created a luxury brand that was also a performance brand, appealing to customers who refused to choose between comfort and excitement. The new millennium brought BMW's most ambitious expansion phase, as they evolved from a car company into a comprehensive luxury lifestyle brand encompassing everything from motorcycles to aircraft engines once again. The acquisition of the Mini brand in 2000 and Rolls-Royce in 2003 demonstrated BMW's strategic vision for dominating multiple luxury segments. Mini allowed BMW to enter the premium small car market with a brand that had its own distinct personality and history, while Rolls-Royce gave them access to the ultra-luxury segment where price was no object. These acquisitions weren't just about adding volume, they were about creating a portfolio of brands that could serve customers throughout their lives and across different preferences. BMW also expanded into new vehicle categories, launching the X5 SUV in 1999, which created the luxury performance SUV segment almost overnight. The X5 proved that SUVs could be engaging to drive while still offering the utility and commanding driving position that customers wanted. This was followed by the 6 Series, reviving the Grand Touring Coupe category, and eventually the X1, X3, and X6, giving BMW one of the most comprehensive luxury SUV lineups in the industry. BMW's innovation during this period extended beyond just new models to include advances in engine technology, materials science, and manufacturing processes. The company pioneered advances in turbocharged engines, lightweight construction, and eventually electric vehicle technology, always maintaining their focus on the driving experience even as automotive technology became increasingly complex. Today, BMW stands as one of the most successful luxury automotive empires in the world, with annual revenues exceeding 100 billion euros and a presence in virtually every global market. But their greatest achievement may be their successful navigation of the electric vehicle revolution while maintaining their performance DNA. The BMW i division, launched in 2011, represented the company's most significant technological leap since the transition from motorcycles to cars. The i3 and i8 were radical departures from traditional BMW design and engineering, featuring carbon fiber construction, sustainable materials, and entirely new manufacturing processes. While these models had mixed commercial success, they established BMW as a serious player in electric vehicle technology and sustainable luxury. The current BMW lineup includes everything from the entry-level 1 Series to the ultra-luxury Rolls-Royce Cullinan, mini electric vehicles, and high-performance M cars that can compete with any supercar manufacturer. BMW has sold over 25 million vehicles globally and continues to be one of the most profitable automotive companies in the world. The Munich headquarters remains the center of a global empire that employs over 130,000 people and operates manufacturing facilities on every continent. Perhaps most remarkably, BMW has maintained its focus on driving dynamics and performance throughout every transition and expansion, proving that a clear brand identity and consistent execution can survive world wars, economic crises, and technological revolutions. From Karl Rapp's aircraft engines in 1916 to today's electric M cars, BMW has spent over a century proving that engineering excellence, innovative thinking, and an obsessive focus on the customer experience can build not just a successful business, but a global empire that defines an entire category. The ultimate driving machine isn't just a marketing slogan, it's the culmination of more than a century of relentless pursuit of automotive perfection, making BMW one of the most remarkable transformation stories in business history.